Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine, it's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Today, I want to talk about digital transformation. I had a look at what the top 10 questions businesses were asking last week, and digital transformation came up as one of the top questions that were asked. Things like, how can I overcome my digital transformation hurdles on a limited budget? I know that's a big headline, isn't it? But it's the question, one of the questions that people are asking. So let's have a look at what digital transformation is and the things that you need to consider with it. Digital transformation isn't just about overhauling your entire business overnight. It's about using existing digital technology to streamline and enhance your business processes. Now, if you have been listening to this podcast for a while, you will know that this is what I'm about. It's about looking at what's out there in the system, what's out there in the world, in the industry, and seeing what best suits your business for where your business is at today and where you want it to be in the future. So for small businesses, digital transformation might involve moving from paper-based systems to digital record keeping. Don't try and say that one fast. It might be about adopting cloud services for storage and collaboration. It may be about what online tools you can use to improve your customer engagement. The thing with doing a digital transformation is to create smarter, more efficient operations that can adapt to the changing demands of the market that you're in and the changing demands of the business that you're in. What are the potential benefits of digital transformation? Well, it leads to significant benefits. You've got improved efficiency through automation, faster communications, better data-driven decision-making, and certainly it should enhance your customer experiences. If you can't put ticks in at least one of those boxes, and preferably multiple of those boxes, you really need to consider whether this is a step you need to take. Ultimately, though, I'm going to have to slow that down. A digital transformation helps small business compete more effectively in the digital marketplace without needing to spend a ton of cash, putting massive investments. It's about those little 1% improvements that you can get as you do things within your business. Okay, so what are some of the obstacles that you might come up against when you're looking at a digital transformation or affecting a digital transformation in your business? Resistance to change is a big one. You, as the business owner, may have a preferred way of doing something, and someone comes along to you, one of your employees, one of your team members, a salesperson, a colleague in the industry, or someone else who is in business comes to you and says, hey, listen, have a look at this. And you may have it in your head that the process that you've got works perfectly well. Why do I need to change it? That's probably a really good place to start. But you also, as a business owner, need to be open-minded enough to look at what's coming through and have the brain space, because that's the other thing when we're in business. It's actually having the brain space and the time to sit down and think about, is this something I should be looking at? Is this something that can benefit me? I'm not saying that, you need to go and do a whole needs analysis on it, but be open to the fact that there are things out there that may benefit you. And just because you're doing it one way now doesn't mean you should keep doing it that way. On the other side of that, because I would be very, very lax if I didn't mention it, just because you've got a new way of doing something or there's a new method of doing something doesn't necessarily mean you should be implementing it for your business. You need to be open enough to be able to look at it and make that decision, or spend some time to be able to make that decision. The other part of the resistance to change is, of course, once you start bringing in a new system, the existing team members, the existing staff members, your existing subcontractors, existing providers may not be happy with the change. They may not be able to cope with the change. They might just want to keep doing it the way they've been doing it forever because they know it, it's easy, and it's habit. So that resistance to change is something that you really need to program into any program of change that you put into place, any technological change you put into place. The size of your budget is the other one. I work with a lot of clients who come to me and say, we want to do all these things. And I'm like, cool. And I've had this salesperson pitch me this. And I say, cool, what do you guys think? They're like, we can't afford it. I'm like, yeah, you probably can't afford it. Not only do you need to look at what's being pitched at you and do your needs analysis and say, is this something that's of benefit to me? You need to be able to pay for things that you think are of benefit to you. So one of the better ways of doing a digital transformation, of migrating systems across to new systems, or taking an offline system to put it into an online system, is to prioritize the things that are going to give you the biggest bang for buck, your biggest return on investment. Choose the things that are going to give you the most benefit early on and quickly, the things that solve the most critical problems. It might be that, I'm just trying to think, accounting systems are a good one. You do your accounting on an older style. Maybe you still do accounting on written down accounting. Highly unlikely in this day and age, but maybe you're using a slightly older system, and that older system doesn't let you email or automatically import bills. You've got to go in and manually add the bills into the system, things that you've got to pay into the system. It doesn't allow you to track who's paid invoices connected up to your payment system. So when that goes through the payment system, it marks it as paid. It tells you what date it was paid. It tells you what bank account it was paid into. Some of the older systems don't let you do that. By putting those things in place with an accounting system, you could be saving yourself time, energy, and money. And most importantly, when you come to the end of the week or the end of the fortnight or the end of the month and you run your debtors ledger, whether it's people who owe you money or people you owe money to, you know that it's up to date. You don't have to spend another hour or so going through the bank account and ticking things off and saying, yes, that was paid. You can do all of that quickly, because all of those other things that take that time and energy are done for you. That would be a good return on investment. So if you've got a limited budget, it's really important to understand the things that are hurting you the most, or the things that are going to give you the quickest and the biggest return on investment. Another common obstacle for a digital transformation is simply the learning curve and skills gap. Now, I spoke about resistance to change at the top. These two kind of go hand in glove. If someone's resistant to change, it may well be that they know that they have to learn the new system. They know that they've got to go through a whole process of, I know this process. I know how this process works. Now you're giving me a new system, and now I've got to go and learn how to use that new system. And I don't have the brain space. I don't have the time because I'm so busy doing my job. So the learning curve is something you do absolutely need to consider when you're putting a new system in place, when you are doing a digital transformation. Skills gap is the other one, and that's going to come down to not only people being able to use the system, but your budgets as well. We spoke about limited budgets just then. If you've got a limited budget, you absolutely have to think about what it's going to cost you to train the team members and the staff and whoever else up to use the new system. So learning curve and skills gap they fall into the resistance to change or the obstacles that you might get. They're things that you absolutely need to consider when you're doing your whole planning process. One of the things that I really like doing, and I'm doing this with a couple of clients now, is incremental implementation. I had a client who was on, or who wanted to use Google Workspace or Google Work Suite now, that's what it's called. And they came to me and they said, we know that you're really good at this stuff. Can you help us out? Can you help us migrate our systems? And then we want to know all the things that we can use. So I helped them migrate their system. But rather than sitting down and going, well, this tool does this and this tool does this, and you can do this and you can do all these things, because that's what all the sales documentation does anyway. I said to them, yeah, I can do that, but let's do this over time. What is it that's hurting you the most today? What is it that you really want to try and take advantage of today, that improve today? They gave me like 5 or 6 things. I said, cool, that's great. Here are the tools within Google Workspace that can help you do that. And actually, on top of that, you probably need to put in place this type of system and this type of system just to bring these all together. Now, the benefit of doing it that way for them was, first of all, they can get on and run their business. They can do what they need to do to bring money through the door. They're not spending all of their time and energy and money trying to use all the features that exist in the system and learn all the features that exist in a system that they're not going to use today. If you're going to do training, you want to make sure that you can double down on that training, and that your employees get to use the training that you've given them. If you don't use it, you lose it. Most skills are perishable. You've got to keep retraining them. You've got to keep using them. And if you don't, they disappear. So if you've already put investment into training and then you're not going to use it for another 6 months, you're going to have to redo that training again. So think about that when you're putting it through. But start small and scale gradually. Do one thing at a time. Do that well, get that in place, and then do the next thing. Don't try to rush an implementation. Don't try to use all the things that are there all at once. The small win approach is going to allow you to test new methods, and it's not going to overwhelm your existing resources. I speak regularly in this podcast about using low-cost tools and maybe free tools. I'm always a little careful with the free tools that are out there. There are platforms and there are things that are out there that work really well. Trello, Asana for task management, they all have free levels that you can upgrade to. But use free and low-cost tools to get the improvements that you want. If you are a startup, I'm really good at this one today, aren't I? If you are a startup, going out for a full NetSuite, sales suite. Oh goodness, I can't think what it's called. That full, CRM sales management package is probably not going to be the best use of your money or your time or your energy. You probably want to start really small and work out what it is you're doing and work out what your processes are, and then see how you can, if you need to, even if you need to, move up into those packages. Sometimes you can just stay where you are. You're going to have people come to you and say, this is going to make your life wonderful. We can do this for you. We can do that for you. And then they put the proposal on the table and you go, I just don't see how, I just don't see how I can afford to do that, or that's a lot of money. Like if you're gasping at that sort of money, it's a lot of money. And they'll say, oh, but it'll be so good. It'll be so great. Just break it down. Use what you can. Keep your costs down. Step into it. Do it slowly. Finally, the final thing to do if you're going to do a digital transformation, invest in training and feedback. It is no use putting a system in place and then not doing the training for your employees or your team members or your subcontractors or whoever it is you work with. Make sure that you have training available. And I don't just mean, oh, look, we're going to do an hour webinar to show you how to use this thing. Absolutely, that might be a great way of doing it, but make sure you've got manuals, step-throughs, video guides, something that if once they get into it and they're looking at how to do something, they can go and look it up. They can have a look and see how they do it without having to come to you and say, we don't know what's going on, we can't use this isn't working. Or B, have to go back to the organisation and incur more fees for taking the support that comes with that, because most support is chargeable after it's installed. You might get a month's worth of support as part of it. You might get 3 months worth of support, but that will come to an end, and there will be a limit as to how much support that they will give you within the cost of your little project. The feedback is also important. You need to encourage feedback. One of the things that I have seen some organisations do, larger organisations, not small businesses generally, is when they put a new system in and people start saying, this isn't working for us, this isn't, I need to work like this, I need to do these are the things. So you're just going to have to put up with it. That just, it crushes the spirit of your employees or your subcontractors. It just crushes your team members' willingness to even try to get something to work. So make sure you've got a good feedback process in place, and make sure that your team members feel valued for giving you that feedback. All right, guys, I know I speak on this sort of stuff a lot, and I know I try to do a bit of the real hands-on, this is how we do things. I like talking about these sorts of things to get you thinking about it so that you can come back and ask questions. The more questions you ask, the more information I can hand out, the more information I can generate for you, the more knowledge I can share. Do you have questions coming out of this one? Do you have experiences you want to share with me about what worked for you and what didn't? Leave comments wherever you are watching or listening to this video. The best place actually to do all this is across on my locals community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. You come and join the conversation there. You get access to me, you get access to each other. It is a place of community for small business owners to nut out all these sorts of things. You can always send me a DM on our social media channels. I'll get to those eventually, and you can come and visit me on my website, askcharlyleetham.com. If this has been of benefit to you today, please like the video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so that you find out when I drop more content. And guys, I will see you all tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.